Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are lucky enough to be here for the June 2019 Worldox Virtual User Group meeting from Attorney Computer Systems, where today we are talking about, well, we don't know what we're talking about yet, because today is our open forum session where we have a few people who have submitted questions. We have a few people here who we think have questions, and we're going to answer those questions. So without any further ado, I'm going to get into Worldox while Patty tells us what our first question is.
Paul, our first question is, how do I default my cabinet to the client file?
You want to take that one, Mary Jo, or shall I? Okay, I'm going to...
I will take that one after I unmute myself.
After you unmute yourself,
hear me.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay, here's Worldox.
Okay, so if we are saving a document and we want to default the cabinet to something else, I'm going to just pretend I have a test document here. And let me grab this. Come on.
Yep. Welcome to Office 365.
Hello. Open. There we go. All right, we're going to get a test document, and I'm going to hit save right here. Worldox is going to pop open. And when it does, right now, I'm defaulting to client file. If you see something different here, or in my example, I'll do it to something else. So let's say I want my cabinet to always default to eDiscovery, something like that. I can choose the cabinet I want it to default to, and then I can highlight the little favorite cabinet over here on a save. All right, so that's my favorite cabinet now is eDiscovery. And if I want this to be my default from now on, I can click this little Make Default button over here. And when I do that, it gives me some options of the fields that are available that I want to keep, and then it will let me say whether it's only for me or whether I want to do it for everyone. So only me, and you only get the everyone option if you're a manager, but if it's only me, I'm only changing this default for myself. Say okay, and then that will go ahead and make that my default. So
okay, I get to say something. Mary Jo, I know something that Mary Jo doesn't know.
What?
Yay.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
How do you know I don't know?
Good. Okay.
Oh, okay. So, well, hold on,
Yep.
Paul.
Okay.
So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to show you that now when we come in here, it's now defaulting to eDiscovery. So we will go ahead and change it back to client files. I'll make that the default.
Nope, let me do it. Can I do it?
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to change it back to client files, and Mary Jo already made client files the default cabinet, because clicking on this heart and making it red, you do not need to make defaults. That sets the client default so that it now should be client files. Come on, wait for it. There we go. So clicking this red heart here makes that the default, but then what Mary Jo did was she went one step further and said, I can also default these other things. Okay, so there. Maybe she's acting like she did know that, so maybe she did. Okay.
It's all combined.
It's all kind of combined, yeah. But as far as making the cabinet default, all you really need to do is hit that heart.
Now, you will have to do that on other screens. This was the default save. And if you were in direct access, that would be a different cabinet possibly. So you want to make sure anything that you're doing, you want to default the cabinet to the right thing. So you may have to repeat that for other things that you're doing.
But once you've done it a couple times in direct access, you've done it in save, maybe there's one more place where you'd want to do it, then every time that pops up, it'll default to client files or whatever it is that you selected. Awesome. Patty, what else do we have?
Mary Jo, along with that same question, can that be done for everyone, or do I need to go to each machine?
Yes, that can be done for everyone if you're a manager. So that's back where I was. I made this the default. We can make that the default, and you can say for everyone.
Yeah.
So that's where you can push that out. Only if you're a manager and you have those rights, then you can choose everyone and say okay, and that will be the new default for everyone. You don't have to go machine to machine then.
And that does require, even if it's just the cabinet that you wanted, that does require going into that Make Defaults button, because that's where that everyone versus just me comes into play.
Yep.
What else do we have, Patty?
Our next question is, how do I search a list of documents to find a specific document?
I'll let you take that one, Paul. Go ahead.
You're not going to jump in and say you know something I don't know.
I might. I just might.
You just might. So here's a list of documents. Let's actually say we're going to search for, I don't know, a certain client. maybe we're going to go to client files and we're going to pull up City of Mesa, I think is in here. And so we're pulling up this general matter for City of Mesa, okay? I think what the person is asking is, because this is one I saw come in earlier, how do I search within this list? Now, obviously, this list isn't very long, okay? It's a few screens long. It's maybe 24, maybe 30 documents. But it could be 100, could be 700, it could be 2,000 documents. It doesn't matter. There's a couple different things you can do. First off, you can use what we call type down. So basically, you make sure your focus is on a document, and then you just start to type. So if I type the word discount, it takes me, as I type, it pops up a little box, shows me what I'm typing, because maybe I forgot the S and I just, typed D-I-C-O-U-N-T, and that would take me to the wrong thing. So it pops up the box, shows you what you're typing, and then as you type, it takes you to the first of the next documents that has DIS in it. And really, I'm looking for C-O-U-N-T, and there I am. But if I want to then go to the next one after that, I use that button or the down arrow. They will both do the same thing. And really, obviously, as you can see, there are two documents that have the word discount, that one and that one. I can hit the up arrow to go up, the down arrow to go down, and if you're at the end and you hit the down arrow, it takes you to the top again. Now, the problem with that is it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of jumpy. You gotta, well, yeah, that might be it. Okay, let me go to the next one. No, that's not it. Let me go to the, oh, okay, that might be it too. It doesn't really give you a place where you can compare and say, just show me the documents that have the word discount. So there is also this methodology here. People see filter, and they maybe drop this down, and they immediately assume that that's going to let them filter by type of document, like DocX versus PDF versus WordPerfect versus messages. But if you read the words, you'll see that it says filter by .ext/DESC or description, which implies that if I type a word in here, it's going to search the description and I believe the comments, because I learned the other day that the comments and the description are considered to be the same thing. So it's going to search the description and the contents for any documents that have the word discount in those fields. And so that takes me to the same two documents, but it does it in such a way that I can look at them and only them, and if there were 7 of them, I could kind of jump between them. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you are looking at documents like this, it's nice to pop open the viewer and be able to look a little deeper at the document as you highlight it to see if that's the one you're looking for. So those are the 2 ways I can think of, Mary Jo. Are there any other ways that are coming to mind for you?
Yes. So when you are still on that list, so we're going to get back and hide the view here, and we're going to get that word out of there for the filter. So if I'm back here on the list and I want to narrow down this list and further, you can use the filters button down here at the bottom, and you can decide some different parameters that you want for that document. So maybe a certain doc type, you can narrow down what you're looking at here to say, I just want, a DOCX file, and I only want the contracts, and there aren't any. So, you can go through here and you can look at these different things, either by doc type, category, the actual doc type you've chosen, contract, email, whatever they are, whatever's available on the list you're looking at will be here. Author, typist, things like that. So you'll be able to sort that and see on the list all the non-responsive documents. Then you can do your type down up here, or you can do your filter to even go further. So that kind of gives you a little bit more narrowing to find the right document that you need.
And I was at some training last week where they equated this to being like searching for something on Amazon and then filtering by brand or by price range. Or it's the same concept. You're filtering by things that, in this instance, are appropriate to the documents as opposed to something that you might be buying on Amazon. But it's the same thing you do when you get a list of, 2,000 products that, you really don't want to sort through. But then you can say, well, I only want the ones that are 5-star rated and that are prime shipping and, things like that. And you get your list down. That's the same thing you're doing here.
Then you can go back and see your full list here again by
just by that. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, those are a couple different ways there. I hope that helps.
Good. What's next, Patty? Do we have any more questions?
Sure do. Can you show us the best way to
I think
attach
you're
a
muted,
document
Patty.
to an email?
Oh, she's not. Oh, I think
Okay.
I'm deaf. Never mind.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
I would. I didn't hear it.
Okay. Can you show us the best way to attach a document to an email?
Oh.
You want me to do that one?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So we're just going to go into Outlook real quick, and I'm going to start a new email. And so generally we're working in Outlook when we're composing an email. So the best way, I think, is to do it from Outlook. So we can go ahead and start our composition of our email for the to, the subject, even type our email. And then when we click attach, it's going to go ahead and open up Worldox. Now, in this instance, I have to click on Browse this PC. But as soon as you hit Browse this PC, it opens Worldox. And that will take you in so you can select your documents. Now, something I see people do all the time is they'll select it and they're like, okay, it's not attaching. What do I do now? So, or you might have multiple documents. I want this one and this one and this one. And I want to attach these, but nothing's happening. It's not attaching. So if you double click on any document that you want to attach, if it's just one and you just double click it, it's going to go ahead and attach it. If it's multiples and I double click on any of the ones I have highlighted, it's going to go ahead and open the little box that's asking me, do I want the 3 that I've checked, that I've selected here, or just the highlighted one up here? And so I can let it know. Excuse me, oh my gosh, I was trying to hold that in, but it didn't work. Okay, so 3 checked and then the highlighted. And if I just hit continue, it's going to go ahead and ask me now, do I want full copies? Do I want a Worldox list, file list, or do I want it to be encrypted? Now, if I'm sending these documents outside of my office for people that may not have Worldox or my Worldox, I'm always going to do a full copy, or you may choose the encrypted container, which you can password protect then. It zips up the file. Otherwise, if it's internal, you can do the Worldox list. It'll give them a link to that document instead of all the documents listed. So I'm going to pretend that I'm emailing this out of my office. So we're just going to do full copies. And then you do get an option whether you want to attach it with the doc IDs or the description. Now, obviously, if I'm sending this outside of my office, those doc IDs don't mean anything to my person I'm sending to. So I'm just going to leave the description there. I'm not going to change this to do the doc ID. So you're going to go ahead and say OK. And at that point, you got to wait a few seconds until you actually see them pop in here. And then your email is ready to send. So many times at the beginning when I started using this, and I have users do this all the time, you hit that attach and then you just go ahead and hit send, but you haven't given it that few seconds to actually attach the documents. So until you see them appear, wait to hit the send.
Yep.
And then when you hit send, they will go off and you'll have those in there. So that is the fastest, easiest way because you're already in Outlook. You can go back and attach more. So if I had some that were in different locations, again, Browse this PC is going to take me into Open Worldox. I could go to a whole nother matter, a whole nother place, get some more documents and attach them. I'll just pretend I'm there and go ahead, double click, and it will go ahead and ask me the same thing. And I can attach more documents to the email. So that's probably the quickest way to do it that we can talk about today.
Now I'm gonna share a secret. I'm gonna take these out of here. This is something that is in newer versions of Outlook, newer versions of Office. And I take advantage of it even when I haven't taken advantage of it by simply typing the word, come on, get out of there, attached. Even though that's not what I'm going to say, the minute I get into this email, I say attached, because then if I accidentally hit send, it's going to say, are you sure you want to do that? Because it looks like you meant to attach something. I see the word attached, and then you can say don't send. So even if I'm replying to an email, I put the word attached in, and if I'm starting a brand spanking new email, I just don't put the to in. And then you don't do what I do. I saw a Venn diagram on Facebook the other day, one of those memes, those funny things that those young kids are doing these days, and it was a circle, and 20% of the time you sent something, and 80% of the time you send it again later with whoops in the subject because you forgot to attach. So that's how you can avoid that.
So the makers of Outlook, Microsoft here, have done something really good in catching that because it happens all the time.
Oh, it happens to me all the time.
All the time.
Certainly. Yeah, they've done one good thing and 8,000 bad things in the last
No, you're not going to go there.
No, I'm not going to go there. Okay. More quick questions, Patty?
We actually have a few more. The next question, is there a way to make the filters stick between different files?
Meaning that they are always on.
So filters, let's go back to Worldox.
Yeah, let's go back there. There is a way to make it so it always defaults to showing the filters at the bottom, but I don't think that's what the person's asking. I think they're wondering, hey, can I apply some filters and then move to a different selection of documents and have the same filters stick? And I know the answer to that is no. So let's walk through that with my example of going to Amazon and using the same technology. Let's say you get a list of 24 different bread making machines, and you apply some filters over on the left to say, well, I don't want to spend more than $200, so I'm looking for under $200, and I only want ones that'll ship Prime. And then you say, okay, well, now I want to look at mattresses, okay? The problem is, and it's the same problem here, those filters that you chose for the bread making machines were based on the results that you had. So if you come in here and say, well, I'm going to apply these filters, I see that there's some documents written by AC, and I want those, and I want the messages. I think I'm going to take that off and choose doc. There we go. Those aren't going to stick if I now move to a different matter or perform a different search to find a different list of documents, because I'm going to be choosing from a whole different menu of options down here based on the tags that are applied to the documents that I search for in my new search. So no, unfortunately, those filters do not stick. When you go and search for something else, these will all be cleared out. And I think that we're answering the question the person intended to ask, but if they didn't, I don't think this is one that came in early. So if the person's listening and they're like, well, that's not what I asked, just let Patty know.
Type it in and we'll
come back to it. Mm-hmm. What else do we have, Patty?
The next question is, can we save lots of documents at one time into a specific category?
Yes. So let's say that we have that City of Mesa general, and we want to take, and here I've got categories showing, and we want to take this document, this document, and this document, and put them in a different category. So what we do is we block the three, we mark them, and then we right-click in the categories column, and we choose add, and we add it to whatever category we want. Let's say facilities, and now all three of these documents have facilities. Now there's a trick. You'll notice when you right-click in here that you have the option to add a category, but if you, at least this was a bug that was in there, and this may have been fixed, but if you add a category when you've got, let's say, 3 documents applied, 3 documents selected, if you add a category because it wasn't there when you selected the documents, then it will only add that category to the first document. So the trick is to make sure that, and even if this has been fixed.
That's on save. That's on the save. So I think what she's saying is,
it's on here.
Yeah, so when you save, like if you come in and you have 3 documents you're saving, because her question was on save, so not when they're already in here. So when you have 3 I think so, you can clarify, but the 3 documents that you have out there, wherever, and you want to save them into Worldox, and you add the category, it's the same issue you're talking about here, is that you're adding a new category, and then you have to then let it go ahead and apply to the first one, and then add the second 2 and let it apply.
Okay, but you can't save 3 documents at the same time.
You can drag them in to the work zone, or you can send to Worldox.
Okay, so, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Not a save from Word, but a save, bringing into Worldox. I see.
Correct.
And so the trick is make sure the category is there to begin with, and then when you drag it into the work zone, as Mary Jo points out, or when you're here and you've marked 3 of them, or 4 of them, or 17 of them, as long as the category exists and you've marked them, you can add it, and it'll add it to all 17. But don't get caught adding the category at the same time, because in some versions, some release, and like I say, maybe it's been fixed, but it was a problem for a while, and a lot of our clients do still have a release that has that issue, so be careful of that. think that answers the question.
You can always come back in though later and highlight the rest and then go ahead and
And
add the
then
category,
add
and
the
it will do
category.
multiples at that point once it's done. It'll apply that category to the first one, and then you can select the rest of them and then go ahead and add that.
Right. Okay.
Patty?
More, Patty?
Okay. Yeah, just to let you know, they did comment that that is exactly what they mean. They use the work zone and want to pull all those documents into the same category.
Yeah,
So
Mary Jo's
I think you
smirking at
answered
me.
that correctly.
Patty, Mary Jo's teasing me. Will you make her stop,
I
please?
like these live ones better.
No,
This is
I
fun.
won't. Sorry.
Are there more questions, Patty?
There are more questions. The next one is, we make a category to almost all client files, which we really like. However, sometimes someone will delete it by accident. Is there a way to lock a category so it can't be deleted?
Well,
And lock in quotes.
you can't lock a category itself, but you